औज़ुबिल्लाहिमिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली। Section 17 Weld Abilities of Steels. 17.1 Introduction. Weld ability simply means the ability to be welded, and many types of weldable steel have been developed for a wide range of applications. The ease or difficulty of making a weld with suitable properties and free from defects determines whether steels are considered as having good or poor weld ability. A steel is usually said to have poor weldability if it is necessary to take special precautions to avoid a particular type of imperfection. Another reason for poor weldability may be the need to weld within a very narrow range of parameters to achieve properties required for the joint. 17.2 Factors that affect weldability. A number of interrelated factors determine whether a steel has a good or poor weldability. Actual chemical composition. Weld joint configuration. Weld process to be used. Properties required from the weldment. For steels with poor weldability, it is particularly necessary to ensure that WPSs give welding conditions that do not cause cracking but achieve the specified properties. Welders work strictly in accordance with the specified welding conditions. Welding inspectors regularly monitor welders to ensure they are working strictly in accordance with the WPSs. Having a good understanding of characteristics, causes and ways of avoiding imperfections in steel weldments should enable welding inspectors to focus attention on the most influential welding parameters when steels with poor weldability are used. 17.3 Hydrogen cracking. During fabrication by welding, cracks can occur in some of steel due to the presence of hydrogen. The technical name is hydrogen-induced cold cracking, but is often referred to by names that describes various characteristics of hydrogen cracks. Cold cracking. Cold crack occur when the weld has cooled down. Heat affected zone cracking. Cracks occur mainly in the heat affected zone. Delayed cracks. Cracks may occur some time after welding has finished, possibly up to 72 hours. Underbead cracking. Cracks occur in the heat affected zone beneath a weld bead. Although most hydrogen cracks occur in the heat affected zone, there are circumstances when they may form in the weld metal. Figure 17.1 Typical location of hydrogen-induced cold cracks. Figure 17.2 Hydrogen-induced cold crack that initiated at the heat-affected zone at the toe of fillet weld. 17.3.1 Factors influencing susceptibility to hydrogen cracking. Hydrogen cracking in the heat-affected zone of a steel occurs when four conditions exist at the same time. Hydrogen level greater than 15 milliliter per 100 gram of weld metal deposited. Stress greater than 0.5 of the yield stress. Temperature less than 300 degrees centigrade. Susceptible microstructure greater than 400 HV hardness. Figure 17.3 Factors susceptibility to hydrogen cracking. These four factors are mutually interdependent, so the influence of one condition depends on how active the other three are. 17.3.2 Cracking mechanism. Hydrogen can enter the molten weld pool when hydrogen containing molecules are broken down into hydrogen atoms in the welding arc. Because hydrogen atoms are very small, they can move about, diffuse in solid steel, and while weld metal is hard, can diffuse to the weld surface and escape into the atmosphere. However, at lower temperatures, hydrogen cannot diffuse as quickly, and if the weldment cools down quickly to ambient temperature, hydrogen will become trapped, usually in the heat affected zone. If the heat affected zone has a susceptible microstructure indicated by being relatively hard and brittle, and there are also relatively high tensile stress in the weldments, then hydrogen cracking can occur. The precise mechanism that causes cracks to form is complex, but hydrogen is believed to cause embrittlement of region of heat affected zone, so that high localized stress cause cracking rather than plastic straining. 17.3.3 Avoiding high heat affected zone hydrogen cracking. Because the factors that cause cracking are interdependent and each must at an active level at the same time, cracking can be avoided by ensuring that at least one of the factor is not active during welding. Methods to minimize the influence of each of four factors are considered in the following subsections. Hydrogen. The main source of hydrogen is moisture, H2O, and the principal source is being welding flux. Some fluxes contain cellulose, and this can be a very active source of hydrogen. Welding processes that do not require flux can be regarded as low hydrogen processes. Other sources of hydrogen are moisture present in the rust or scale, and oil and gases, hydrocarbons. Reducing the influence of hydrogen is possibly by ensuring that fluxes, coated electrodes, flux cord wires, and SAW fluxes are low in hydrogen when welding commences. Either baking, then storing low hydrogen electrodes in a hot holding oven, or supplying them in a vacuum sealed packages. Basically agglomerated SAW fluxes in a heated silo until issue to maintain their as supplied low moisture condition. Checking the diffusible hydrogen content of the weld metal, sometimes specified on the test certificate. Ensuring that a low hydrogen condition is maintained throughout welding by not allowing fluxes to pick up moisture from the atmosphere. Issuing low hydrogen electrodes in small quantities and limiting exposure time. Heat quivers do this. Covering or returning flux covered wire spools that are not seamless to suitable storage condition when not in use. Returning basic agglomerated SAW fluxes to the heated silo when welding is not continuous. Checking the amount of moisture present in the shielding gas by checking the dew point must be below minus 60 degrees centigrade. Ensuring the weld zone is dry and free from dust or scale and oil grease. Tensile stress. There are always tensile stress acting on the weld because there are always residual stresses from welding. The magnitude of tensile stresses is mainly dependent on the thickness of the steel at the joint, heat input, joint type, and the size and weld to the component being welded. Tensile stresses is highly restrained joint can be as high as the yield strength of the steel, and is usually the case in large components with thick joints, and is not a factor that can easily be controlled. The only practical ways of reducing the influence of residual stresses may be by avoiding stress concentration due to poor fit up. Avoiding poor weld profile, sharp weld toes. Applying a stress relief heat treatment after welding. Dot. Increasing the travel speed as practicable to reduce the heat input. Keeping weld metal volume as low as possible. These measures are particularly important when welding some low alloy steels that are particularly sensitive to hydrogen cracking. Susceptible heat affected zone microstructure. A susceptible heat affected zone microstructure is one that contains a relatively high proportion of hard brittle phase of steel, particularly martensite. The heat affected zone hardness is a good indicator of susceptibility, and when it exceeds a certain value, that steel is considered susceptible. For carbon and carbon manganese steel, this value is 350 HV and susceptible to hydrogen cracking increases as hardness increases above this value. The maximum hardness of an heat affected zone is influenced by chemical composition of the steel, cooling rate of the heat affected zone after each weld run. For carbon and carbon manganese steel, a formula that has been developed to assess how the chemical composition will influence the tendency for significant heat affected zone hardening the carbon equivalent value formula. The carbon equivalent formula most widely used and adopted by IIW is carbon equivalent is equal to percentage of carbon plus percentage of manganese over 6 plus percentage of chromium plus molybdenum plus vanadium over 5 plus percentage of nickel plus copper over 15. The carbon equivalent of steel is calculated by inserted the material test certificate values shown by the chemical composition into the formula. The higher the carbon equivalent, the greater its susceptibility to heat affected zone hardening, therefore the greater the susceptibility to hydrogen cracking. The element with most influence on heat affected zone hardness is carbon. The faster the rate of heat affected zone cooling after each weld run, the greater the tendency for hardening. Cooling rate tends to increase as heat input decreases, lower energy input. Joint thickness increases, bigger heat sink. Avoiding a susceptible heat affected zone microstructure for carbon and carbon manganese steels requires procuring steel with a carbon equivalent at the low end of the range of the steel grade, limited scope of effectiveness. Using moderate welding heat input so that the weld does not cool quickly and give heat affected zone hardening. Applying preheat so that the heat affected zone cools more slowly and does not show significant heat affected zone hardening in multi-run welds. Maintain a specific interpass temperature. The carbon equivalent formula is not applicable to low alloy steels with additions of elements such as chromium, molybdenum and vanadium. The heat affected zone of these steels will always tend to relatively hard regardless of the heat input and preheat, and so this is a factor that cannot be effectively controlled to reduce the risk of hydrogen cracking. This is why some of the low alloy steels have a greater tendency to show hydrogen cracking than in weldable carbon and carbon manganese steels, which enable heat affected zone hardness to be controlled. Weldment at low temperature. Weldment temperature has a major influence on susceptibility to cracking, mainly by influencing the rate at which hydrogen can move diffuse through the weld and heat affected zone. While a weld is relatively warm, greater than 300 degrees centigrade, hydrogen will diffuse quickly, rapidly and escape into the atmosphere. rather than the trapped rather than be trapped and cause embrittlement. The influence of low weldment temperature and risk of trapping hydrogen in the weldment can be reduced by applying a suitable preheat temperature, typically 50 to 250 degrees centigrade. Preventing the weld from cooling down quickly after each pass by maintaining the preheat and specific interpass temperature during welding. Maintaining the preheat temperature or raising it to 250 degrees centigrade when welding has finished and holding the joint at the temperature for a minimum of 2 hours to facilitate the escape of hydrogen post heat. Post heat is in accordance with the specification, not to be confused with PWST, at a temperature greater than or equal to 600 degrees centigrade. 17.3.4 Hydrogen cracking in weld metal. Hydrogen cracks can form in weld metal under certain circumstances. The mechanism of cracking and identification of all influence factor is less clearly understood than for heat affected zone cracking, but can occur when welding conditions cause hydrogen to become trapped in the weld metal rather than in heat affected zone. It is recognized that weld is in higher strength materials, thicker sections, and using large beads are the most common problem areas. Hydrogen cracks in weld metal usually lie at 45 degree to the direction of principal tensile stress in the weld metal, usually the longitudinal axis of the weld. Figure 17.4 A. Plane view of a plate butt weld showing subsurface transverse crack. B. Longitudinal section XY of the above weld showing how the transverse crack lie at the 45 degree to the surface. They tend to remain within an individual weld done and may be in the weld several layers. Their appearance in this orientation gives the name chevron cracks, arrow-shaped cracks. There are no well-defined rules for avoiding weld metal hydrogen cracks apart from use a low hydrogen welding process. Apply preheat and maintain a specific interpass temperature. BSN 1011-2 welding. Recommendations for welding of metallic materials. Part 2. Arc welding of ferritic steels, giving in Annex C practical guidelines about how to avoid hydrogen cracking. These are based principally on the applications of preheat and control of potential hydrogen associated with the welding process. 17.6 Solidification cracking. The technical name for cracks that form during weld metal solidification is solidification cracks, but other names are sometimes used. Hot cracking occurs at high temperatures while the weld is hot. Centerline cracking centerline cracking down the center line of the weld bead. Crater cracking. Small cracks in the weld craters are solidification cracks. A weld metal particularly susceptible to solidification cracking may be said to show hot shortness because it is short of ductility when hot, so tends to crack. Figure 17.5 shows a transverse section of a weld with a typical centerline solidification crack. Figure 17.5 A. Solidification crack at the weld center where columnar dendrites have trapped some lower melting point liquid. B. The weld bead does not have an ideal shape but has solidified without dendrites meeting end on and trapping lower melting point liquid, thereby resisting solidification cracking. 17.4.1 Factors influencing susceptibility to solidification cracking. Solidification cracking occurs when three conditions exist at the same time. Weld metal has a susceptible chemical composition. Weld conditions gave an unfavorable bead shape. Dot. High level of restraint or tensile stress is present in the weld area. 17.4.2 Cracking mechanism. A weld metals solidify over a temperature range, and since solidification starts at the fuel line towards the center line of the weld pool. During the last stages of the weld bead solidification, there may be enough liquid to form a weak zone in the center of the bead. This liquid film is the result of low melting point constituents being pushed ahead of the solidification front. During solidification, tensile stresses start to build up due to contraction of the solid parts to the weld bead, and these stresses can cause the weld bead to rupture. These circumstances result in weld bead showing a center line crack as soon as the bead has been deposited. Centerline solidification cracks tend to be surface breaking at some point in their length and can be easily seen during visual inspection because they tend to be relatively wide. 17.4.3 Avoiding solidification cracking. Avoiding solidification cracking requires the influence of one of the factors to be reduced to an inactive level. Weld metal composition. Most carbon and carbon manganese steel weld metals made by modern steel making methods do not have chemical compositions particularly sensitive to solidification cracking. However, they can become sensitive to this type of cracking if they are contaminated with elements or compounds that produce relatively low melting point films in the weld metal. Sulfur and copper can make steel weld metal sensitive to solidification cracking if present in the weld at relatively high levels. Sulfur contamination may lead to formation of iron sulfide that remain liquid when the bead has cooled down as low as is equal to 980 degrees centigrade, whereas bead solidification started above 1400 degrees centigrade. The source of sulfur may be contamination by oil or grease, or it could be picked up from the less refined parent steel being welded by dilution into the weld. Copper contamination in weld metal can be similarly harmful because it has low solubility in steel and can form films that are still molten at 1100 degrees centigrade. Avoiding solidification cracking of an otherwise non-sensitive weld metal requires the avoidance of contamination with potentially harmful materials by ensuring that weld joints are thoroughly cleaned immediately before welding. Any copper containing welding accessories are suitable or unsuitable conditions such as backing bars and contact tips used for GMA, FCA and SAW.